What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Awesome American Train. Some pretty, as very important, and let's start with the most common and popular. If you can use right, it can be like this video right here. It can be so perfect, people will be able to write them. And when the cool thing about bus, and I'll show you that is also the disadvantage, is buses don't have to run on the separate tracks on their separate roads. They can with bus lanes and stuff, but mainly they'll be running on the same roads as cars. And this can be a good advantage because it's a little bit easier, cheaper, because it's it doesn't really matter in Cities Skylines, but for real life it can probably matter because like for building a subway system, it can take a lot of money to build it, like a while and stuff. For building a bus line, you just need a bus and a few stops. You'll get to the how in a few minutes. But anyway, the point is, it does run the same road, and it's pretty cheap. But it's also kind of an also disadvantage because if you don't really know, if you don't lay out your bus routes a little bit properly, which I'm kind of guilty on doing that as well, then you probably will have a lot. If you can use right, it can be like this video right here. It can be so perfect, people will be able to write them. And when the cool thing about bus, and I'll show you that is also the disadvantage, is buses don't have to run on the separate tracks on their separate roads. They can with bus lanes and stuff, but mainly they'll be running on the same roads as cars. And this can be a good advantage because it's a little bit easier, cheaper, because it's it doesn't really matter in Cities Skylines, but for real life it can probably matter because like for building a subway system, it can take a lot of money to build it, like a while and stuff. For building a bus line, you just need a bus and a few stops. You'll get to the how in a few minutes. But anyway, the point is, it does run the same road, and it's pretty cheap. But it's kind of an also disadvantage because if you don't really know, if you don't lay out your bus routes a little bit properly, which I'm kind of guilty on doing that as well, then you probably will have a lot. And I'm gonna show you a few examples of bus routes. I show you a little bit how to set them up. And according to Mr. I agree with him too. He says that buses have to go somewhere, and well, obviously they have to go somewhere, but they mean by like have to go somewhere specific. I mean, sure, it's fun to put lines randomly, but you gotta imagine what the city, what they want to do. Like, let's say, for example, in the city there's 50,000 people, and they need to build a giant university district, and there's a shopping center next to it that's a couple of miles away. It would be more efficient. You could put a bus line there to connect these two together, and it would be more efficient for them to take the bus to just hop onto the transit center from the shopping district to the university place, and that can be very helpful, and that can be very useful for that. But you also put some small bus loops in residential areas to help them get around too. You can even put one airports are, and you can. One thing you can also do, there are actually two main types of stops, I think, in my opinion, and the first stops are called hubs, and hubs are like what I mentioned before, university hubs, or a big hub where multiple bus lines come together, and they can be anywhere from airports, like in this video, train stations, which is handy, and pretty much any big area like university districts, shopping districts, etc. And then there's a handy dandy bus stop, which is basically like an ordinary bus stop with a bus shelter. And in real life in America, at least in Seattle, most of the buses actually only stop at things when there's someone actually wants to get on the bus. Otherwise, it just skips the stop. But in Cities Skylines, the buses stop at every stop, regardless of how many people are on the bus stop. So keep that in mind when building bus lines. Man, my cough is not good right now. But, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, still recording. And one thing, there's actually other types of bus types that are good for useful. They're pretty useful. And three types of bus lines I know of right now are local bus lines and local bus lines, commuter or express buses, whatever you like to call them, and BRTs, bus rapid transits. BRTs are basically buses that go on a little bit busy roads somewhat, then stop and pretty close stops. And the bus service is very frequent. And come on like every 10 minutes or something. And it's very handy. And it can be very efficient. My town has a lot of BRTs and it's very useful and very popular. And the second type of bus is the local bus line, which is the ordinary bus line that connects local people to businesses, etc. and the last one is the express bus line, which go limited stop, but they connect for large destinations on really high, and they can be on they can be placed on highways and stuff, like really large highways. Anyway, the next for transportation is, if you need it, that's also pretty good handy, is that's pretty handy, is the tram. Allow my friend and let me I'm gonna show you a few examples of bus routes and let me I'm gonna show you a few examples of bus routes and show a little bit how to set them up. And according to Cities Skylines, Caribbean 2, he says that buses have to go somewhere, and well, obviously they have to go somewhere, but I mean by like have to go somewhere specific. I mean, sure, it's fun to put lines randomly, but you gotta imagine what the city, what they want to do. Like, let's say, for example, in the city there's 50,000 people, and they need to build a giant university district, and there's a shopping center next to it. That's a little bit couple of miles away. It would be more efficient. You can put a bus line there to connect these two together, and it would be more efficient for them to take the bus to just hop onto the transit center from the shopping district to the university place, and that can be very helpful, and that can be very useful for that. But you also put some small bus loops in residential areas to help them get around too. You can put one airports there, and you can. One thing you can also do, there are actually two main types of stops, I think, in my opinion, and the first stops are called hubs, and hubs are like what I mentioned before, university hubs, or like university, a big hub where all the multiple bus lines come together, and they can be anywhere from airports, like in this video, train stations, which is handy, and pretty much any big area like university districts, shopping districts, etc. And then there's a handy dandy bus stop, which is basically like an ordinary bus stop with a bus shelter. And in real life in America, at least in Seattle, most of the buses actually only stop at things when there's someone actually wants to get on the bus. Otherwise, it just skips a stop. But in Cities Skylines, the buses stop at every stop, regardless of how many people are on the bus stop. So keep that in mind when building bus lines. Damn it. Man, my cough is not good right now. But yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, still recording. And one thing, there's actually other types of bus types that are good for useful. They're pretty useful. And three types of bus lines I know of right now are local bus lines and local bus lines, commuter or express buses, whatever you like to call them, and BRTs, bus rapid transits. BRTs are basically buses that go on a little bit busy roads somewhat, then stop and pretty close stops, and the bus service is very frequent. And come on like every 10 minutes or something, and it's very handy, and it can be very efficient. My town has a lot of BRTs, and it's very useful and very popular. And the second type of bus is the local bus line, which is the ordinary bus line that connects local people to businesses, etc. and the last one is express bus line, which go limited stop, but they connect for large destinations on really high, and they can be placed on highways and stuff, like really large highways. Anyway, the next for transportation is, if you need it, that's also pretty good handy, is that's pretty handy, is the tram. A lot of my friends, now I was going to mention one of the jokes in my school. People began making fun of if you ever have trams and taxis, and the truth is trams are actually pretty useful for having transportation. Portland, if you look at Portland for example, they have a really amazing tram system, or light rail, and it's pretty useful and connects a lot of people. They have multiple lines. Unlike trams, unlike buses, tram stops should be very limited, and should only be in like very popular areas, and because if you have too many stops, it can be like a little bit slow down traffic. And trams can both run on the road with their own tracks, or they can run completely on their own tracks from the road, without the road. Of course, Cities Skylines, and if you want tram, you gotta buy the Snowfall DLC, which in my opinion is the only really useful thing in that thing. My next mode of transportation that I like the most, is actually my favorite one actually, is the metro. Metros are really cool in my opinion. The metros are really amazing in Cities Skylines. May not be so amazing in real life, but they're really amazing in this game. And although if you're not using the unlimited money one, they can be expensive to build, but they are very useful, let me guarantee you. By default, most buses are, now I know stuff. Anyway, by default, most metros are underground in the game. Like in this video, they're all underground. That's actually pretty neat, because they will not interfere with traffic, and that won't cause any traffic jams. And metros, like trams, should use similar principles. They should be shouldn't be stops every few seconds. They should be like spread out evenly, so they can be easy to, so they can be easier to access and more frequent service, and a lot less traffic jams. And it's going to carry multiple bus metro lines across the city, especially if it's a broad one. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes, but mainly in this video, I kind of agree with him in this part. You don't really wanna like have too many metros on the same line. That's fine. It's alright for some lines, but don't do it for often. Most sims in this game, and also a little bit inconvenient. You can just transfer to another metro station with a different line, but if you want to make it more convenient, I guess, you can just put the metros, two lines in the same metro station, so they can be easier to transfer. And also, another good thing that's part of only for the transportation DLC, is monorail. Monorails are obviously elevated, and they can be very useful. But the only problem with monorail is very noisy, and that's why they're only good for shops and businesses. They're not good for residential areas. And but monorails can be very useful, and can be kind of sometimes fun too. I like monorails, they're fun. And for a mod called Metro Overall Modding again, about upground metro stations and upground tracks of metros. This is alright mod, but I prefer my metros underground because they're still pretty cool regardless. My next video is my next transportation that I have opinion on is, which is the channel is based on, is called trains. Trains are pretty neat as the challenge. They're the most high capacity transport in Cities Skylines, as far as I'm concerned, and they can get even more higher with more mods, with more assets. Anyway, trains are a great way for connecting. Like, I didn't do this, but some, like in Seattle, they have stations in almost every town, like Auburn or Kent. They all have a different station, and that connects. And this commuter train, this Sound commuter train, connects all the towns. That's what a train is useful for. And it's very useful for. So yeah, it's good to have. If your train station is having multiple lines, it's good to have a lot of platforms so they can transfer easily. Otherwise, it might cause traffic jams. And beware of the trains do cross roads, and that might cause traffic jams. So that it makes the train go faster, I guess, because they don't have to worry about it too much. But the only problem with trains is that they're a little bit hard to build sometimes, because trains in real life cannot go too high up in mountains. Well, they can a little bit, but they can't go too high. They also cannot go in really big curves. They have to make it go a little bit curves, like some curves, but they can't go like quickly zigzag, because that's not good for the train. That's what you have to watch out for. And usually in Cities Skylines they will not let you put at a stop if it's like the track ahead of it is very curvy. That's the part. And also train stations, all the train stations are major hubs. That means you have a lot of transportation next to them, to connections like buses, metros, and stuff like that. I forgot one more thing. I forgot to mention the metro. I forgot to mention that it's good to have bus connections to every metro station. Anyway, and there's also some other ones too. Transportation like blimps or cable cars, and what else? Ooh, ferries, which are only useful like if you have water, I guess. And ferries are alright, I guess. They're in Washington State. We have a pretty good ferry. It isn't ourselves, not to brag, but the ferries are pretty neat, but a little slow. But also blimps, which I think only San Francisco currently has, and they're only made used for recreation. And cable cars, same thing, only used for recreation, not too much for like actual transportation. This is my thing of public transportation. It's very important for a city, and that's especially important for a big city like 50,000 people. You need public transportation, and it can be a little bit hard to build, but it'll be worth it. People can get some cars off the road, which can help me in congestion. That's my take on public transportation. Hopefully you enjoyed me talking with my really nasal voice, because I'm having a bad cold. I'll get rid of it soon, and I hope I get my normal voice back. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and let me know what's your favorite transportation. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.